Hey, this is Zoe Williams of the Voice of Reason and So What Morning Shows here at Dash Radio. Listen, everybody on YouTube, you guys have been a tremendous support for my shows, and I appreciate everybody for tuning in every week and, participating. But I'm serious than a mug. We need your help on the GoFundMe campaign. We really want to do the VOR radio network, and I'm asking you personally, each and every one of you, we're over nearly 24,000 strong here on the channel. We need you to support by donating. Just click that little button down there and it'll take you directly to the GoFundMe campaign. It's gofundme.com/Zoe Williams. Anything you can do is greatly appreciated. It continues our movement. It continues our forward progress. And I appreciate you all who have already donated. If you can do it again, I thank you so much. Thanks again. So what? I'm out.
I'm Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. If your relationship is in trouble, I'm the dude to call. Has your soulmate become your cellmate? Does black love still exist? What are your bedroom turnoffs? Fantasies and fetishes. Financial infidelity. I'm dating a fat person. Are they worth the wait? Trust me, this gonna be crazy.
How about the heavy stuff?
The child wasn't his, and he still had to pay child support.
It's a very heated topic.
How was that right?
Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
I just have so many questions I want to ask you.
I just like to kiss a woman's ass. Is there something wrong with that?
Damn.
He told me he had a vasectomy. I'm pregnant.
Betrayal has been committed.
Hit you with the bad pipes routine.
How does he maintain his humposity?
He likes it when it pinches my neck.
Why can't you open up, brother?
I'm a karate man. Karate man rules on the inside. They don't show their weaknesses.
Yeah.
How do you write women so well?
Zoe Williams,
Reason and accountability.
the voice of reason.
Friday, the voice of reason in the building by himself. You know, when I come in here and I do a show alone, that we about to get deep. The phone lines are gonna be cracking. No interruptions. It's gonna be straight heat, heat, heat. Ladies and gentlemen, get to your phone lines right now, 323-230-4610. That's the number to dial if you want to get in and drop some science for today's topic, man. When I tell you today's topic is crazy, it's bananas. I can't even, you already know. But before I do that, I got to promote a couple of things. Only 190 copies remain. Physical copies. You want a physical book? You go to my website. Frank will pull it up and show you the instructions. IamZoeWilliams.com. The relationship dismount. How to stick the landing when exiting a toxic relationship. If you know how I get down, I tend to print up a certain amount of numbers, and then once they're gone, I don't reprint them. Now, I'm on my second reprint of the relationship dismount. But the second reprint is dwindling. We're down to 190 copies. I may not go for a third reprint. So consider your books limited editions. Get to your website right now, IamZoeWilliams.com. Order your copy now. If you order it now, I will send it out tomorrow, period. Pack it up, send it out tomorrow. You'll get it in a couple of days. I send it first class. I don't send it media mail. Although a lot of mail carriers or the postal people will say, yo, you should send it media. Well, you send it media, you may not get it this year, period. It's just not a good way. I also want to promote this book, A Single Mother's Guide to Raising a Son, right? Very important book, A Single Mother's Guide to Raising a Son. Mervyn A. Bourne Jr. I've been reading on it. It's a good read. A Single Mother's Guide to Raising a Son. Brother's name is Mervyn A. Bourne Jr. It's got some nuggets in there, especially for tonight's topic. Also, too many people listen to this show. Too many people say they support the movement. The new book is coming out. I want it out by September. It may be November. The holographic relationship is on my website right now for pre-order. I suggest you get your books now, or you're going to run into a situation like the relationship dismount. There are people still asking me about my first book, basically saying, can I get a copy? Can I get a copy? And I'm saying there are no more prints. And now we're down to 190 copies of the relationship dismount. I suggest you pre-order your copy for the holographic relationship. A deeper look into the connection between consciousness, God, and intimacy. Oh, my goodness. Oof. Yikes. Your relationship. Is it a reality vehicle? Oh, God. A reality vehicle? Yes. A vehicle that takes you through reality. What does it mean to relate holographically? What does it mean to think holographically? Oh, my goodness. Listen, when I tell you this book is not a game, get there now. IamZoeWilliams.com. Click the pre-order button on my website. Pre-order your copy now. Also, tonight, crazy topic tonight. I'm not even there yet. I also need you to get to my GoFundMe page. Frank, pull up the GoFundMe page. Very important that you guys continue to support the movement. Frank and I are building something incredible here, and we need your consistent donations. All you have to do is go to www.gofundme.com/ZoeWilliams. I'm about to get some more cameras. We're about to buy some more lights. I turned the lights off tonight because I want to invite the women in. I don't want it to be a harsh environment. I want a real conversation. I don't want a disrespectful one. I want an honorable one. And I think tonight's topic will engender such a conversation. Well, here it is. There's nobody here to hold me back. Tonight's topic. Yikes. First off, tonight's topic is a one-on-one coaching session with me. And I think it's important that I do this. A sister reached out to me day before Monday. It was Monday. Sister reached out to me on Monday in tears because somebody she loves, a young man she loves so much, is living that life. You know, and I had to get to the point where I asked her, like, is this about you? He has his own path. You can't walk his path for him. It's a dangerous path he's on. And it got to the point where she had done so many good things for the brother. You know, got him a whip, paid off the insurance, gave him the whip, just doing too much to the point where you're low-key enabling now. And I gave her the example. The universe is an interesting thing. The universe, God, source, Allahu subhanahu wa ta'ala, Jesus, Buddha, Ahura Mazda, Brahma, whatever you call God, right? Theos, right? Whatever. The universe is an interesting thing because it'll put you in a situation where on face value, it looked fucked up and might be fucked up to a certain level. Fucked up meaning challenging, bad, negative. And I gave her the example. I said, what if he was supposed to have bad tags if you left it up to him, right? You registered the car. You got insurance. You did everything he was supposed to do, right? You did all of that. But what if the universe needed him to get stopped with bad tags and get arrested? What if that was one of the possible outcomes? Don't get me started. The holographic relationship, where we talk about multiple realities, multiple universes, and the same people living different realities because they made different choices in different universes. What if one of those universes said, you didn't get the insurance, right? You didn't get it. He gets pulled over. He gets popped for that. Okay, you're going to jail. But what if in that universe, going to jail was the best option? Because if he didn't get pulled over, he made it to the destination where something could have happened that took his life. So Sometimes we don't look holographically. We don't see things in a multi-dimensional space, right? Today's topic, oh my God. Woof. One-on-one coaching if you're having a difficult time with your son. One-on-one coaching for single mothers. A coaching clinic with Zoe for raising young black boys. Young black boys are in trouble. A deeper look at some common mistakes single mothers make in the absence of a father. Fuck. Tough topic. I've got questions. Don't be afraid to call. The number to dial is 323-230-4610. 323-230-4610. If you know somebody who's having a difficult time, a sister having a difficult time raising a boy, you know how we do at a certain age, we start to disconnect from mama anyway. And now she can't tell him nothing. If you know somebody with a I can't tell him nothing situation, she's having a difficult time reining him in, call me right now, 323-230-4610. True or false? Black women tend to cater to their sons to the point where the boys will never grow into independent thinking men who are able to make a mark in the world. Women tend to raise their daughters a little bit different. We live in the age of the Renaissance women where the little girls get raised as independent, don't depend on no man, handle your business, go to school, get your degree, get your car, get your house, apartment, whatever, make your own rules, stay free. But I just gave a perfect example of how some sisters, not all, some banal, some sisters will baby that boy. Why that boy get babied? Yikes. True or false? Do black women create/raise? Let me just say it another way, because I don't want y'all to be offended. It's not my intention. Here it is. True or false? Yikes. Do black women co-create/raise the men they complain about? If black women have been complaining about black men for 40, 50 years, who's raising these black men? Who are their mothers? We already know the narrative about their daddy. Daddy ain't shit. Mama's baby, daddy's maybe. We already know. You just like your trifling ass father. Ain't nobody ever said you like your trifling ass mama. What are some of the mistakes mamas make? I want to coach some mamas. Mamas that are having a difficult time. And I know some people out there that are having a difficult time. Call me right now, 323-230-4610. True or false? Sisters, raising a goal-oriented son begins with you and not him. You can't be lazy. You can't not have achieved anything in your life, but bang on him to be something as a means of saving you from the mediocrity of your life. And then using the caveat of, well, I'm your mama and I took care of you and I raised you, so I did my job. Wow. Sisters, is it important that you use your flaws to help raise your son? Teachable moments. Get to your lines right now, 323-230-4610. Caller, you're on the line. What's your name and where you calling from? Welcome to the Voice of Reason. Speak on it.
4610. Caller.
Turn your radio down, please.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, young lady?
Hi there. I am calling because I have 2 teenage sons, and I'm young myself. I'm 35, but
yes, you're young, very young.
I'm finding myself, I'm having a hard time with leading them by myself. And so I was wondering, they're 16 and 17, so would it be appropriate for me to buy them the Black Mastery Success Program?
From Veronica Conway?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let me give you an example. Let me give you a living example. My son is 20 years old.
Right.
He's in college. I get him the best trainers. I get him I surround him with all type of people. We call that the village voice. I surround him with all types of positive, empowering people to keep him going. But one of our secrets that I got him on in high school was listening to neuro-linguistic programming. So for a lot of times, you don't get to sports psychology until you get into college or until you get into the pros. And then they bring in these sports psychologists to, work out negative or limiting beliefs that, an athlete may have. But I got hip to that early, and I put my son on it early. So what Veronica has done is created a neuro-linguistic program that speaks to your subconscious, that deals with negative beliefs or limiting beliefs or disempowered beliefs. Listen, if you get your son on that, your son, that's perfect. They're 16, so they're getting to that age where they're pretty independent and they're going to think what they want to think and they're going to do what they want to do. Right. But if you're constantly surrounding them with high quality people and high quality information, they're still going to make mistakes. But if they have that as a foundation, they'll still be able to hearken back to that in the moment of truth. You feel me? So definitely allow them to do that. Now, you had them when you were young, very young, correct?
Right. Correct.
So in a way, you're growing up with them.
Yep, exactly.
So what you got to now do, and I recommend doing this early as possible. I mean, they 16. I don't know how, but listen, I recommend you always be open to your kids about your flaws, about your mistakes.
Right.
And you use those mistakes as a guidepost. Look, I did this. The outcome was this. It wasn't favorable. I'm still paying for it. You understand what I'm saying? You have to use your mistakes as a guide for what not to do.
Right.
And what you're doing now is you're giving them a template for what not to do. And you're being a woman. They'll have now watch this, 2 templates. They'll have a secondary template of an accountable woman. A woman who is accountable for her mistakes. We're not saying that women aren't, but a lot of times men can't see it. And listen, and in an environment where their mama, the first female they've ever loved, showed them how to be personally accountable. Son, I did this. Son, I did that. Son, I made the mistake of, I was young when I had you, so obviously, I didn't protect my reproductive rights. I didn't wear a condom. I didn't do this. I wasn't prepared for that. I wasn't able to make it to this level because I had to take care of you. Do you get what I'm saying? Own it. Own it. When you do that, you show them another level of accountability from the first woman they've ever loved. Do you understand how powerful that is? Now they're going to go out and look for a woman who is accountable because mom set the template for accountability, for responsibility, and not for blame. That's powerful. That's powerful. Yes. Yes. Get them Veronica Conways, but also find Tony Robbins, find Wayne Dyer, find Iyanla Van Zant. By the way, Iyanla Van Zant narrates Veronica Conways at blackmastery.com. Definitely get them on that. And if they're in sports, get them the sports ones too. Right? Being able to come through in the moment, being able to settle your spirit down and clear your mind and organize your resources and then act. Absolutely. If you're going to go that way, go do it.
There was a book you suggested of, I don't even remember when it was, but you said you made your son read it. And Jeff was like, something about you you wanted to show him how to be a slow point guard. I forgot. It was by some book you had your son read that was by a former basketball player, maybe Jerry West.
It was the Jerry West book.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Hell
I had this question on mine.
I made my son read a lot of stuff. Let me give you another book. My son's not going to like this. My son is 20. He's my oldest son. My youngest son is 15. But my oldest son is 20. And my oldest son does not like to share resources, especially mental resources. He'd be like, nah, that's my edge. I don't want other people to know about this. I'm like, it's a book. And anybody can go to the internet and find it. It's a book. What's wrong with you? Share the knowledge, son. He's like, nah. But here's a book that if you can get your son on this young. I read this to my oldest son when he was in the 3rd grade. I was reading it to him. And then by the time he got into 5th grade and could read anything on his own, I gave it to him. And of course, he lost it promptly, right? I was pissed.
As they do, yeah.
But he bought it again on his own. That made me go, ooh, it connected. The book is called Dynamic Thought by Thomas Hamblin. Get him on that. Because a lot of the times, the hustle is born out of scarcity and destitution. Ain't nothing else for me to do. I'm going to go do this. Right? But if you have a high quality of thought, I always say, the quality of your thought determines the quality of your experience. You feel me? Dynamic Thought, Thomas M. Hamblin. Thomas Hamblin. Get that book ASAP. So what are some...
I will. Thank you so much.
I'm not letting you off the hook just yet.
Oh, okay.
Hell to the nah, Bobby Jimmy. Hell to the nah. I need to know, what are some of the mistakes you've made in this process of raising them? Because I know they've reflected back to you who you are and what you are. I know they done showed you. So what have you done that you felt like you got the greatest, piece of information about yourself from, and how did you correct it?
Well, I'm figuring it out still that I was a little too lenient on them in the beginning of their high school years. Like 9th and 10th grade, I gave them entirely too much freedom. So now at their junior and senior years, I'm having to really, I had to escort my junior to class for the past 2 weeks because he was not seeming to be able to make it to class. And I've been to the school, I've talked to the deans, and he's on the basketball team, and he wants to go to college. Somehow he thought I was going to pay for it. So, yeah. So I was very lenient with them in there. As long as they were getting C's, and with him, as long as they weren't calling me constantly, I pretty much let him go. Mm-hmm. And now I realize that I needed to stay on them the entire time. My 12th grader, he's pretty good. He's graduating, so that's good enough for me. He wants to go to Job Corps, so we good. He has his goals pretty much in order, but he still has a long way to go. So I'm finding that in their younger years, I should have kept it a little more real and given them more of what's coming, as opposed to keeping them sheltered. And I was just trying to make sure they didn't gangbang and get nobody pregnant.
Right.
But really, I should have been giving them life skills that I know they need now.
And you know what's so interesting about that? That's one of the things we brought up. Women tend, especially sisters tend to make sure their daughters are really prepared. Whereas the sons, they get, and maybe it's because women think, sons are responsible. Sons are micro men. So they're going to go and do what they're supposed to do. Whereas sisters tend to really nurture their daughters in such a way that daughters get the inside scoop on what it means to be a woman and how to manipulate the system, how to take advantage. And manipulate is not a bad word in this context, ladies. It's just sisters tend to teach their daughters in a different way than they teach the boys. The boys are, you know what you're supposed to do, go out there and do it, because society socializes young boys and men to be responsible for themselves. Whereas with sisters, it seems like you guys give your daughters a different kind of lesson in general. And of course, we're not speaking in absolutes. We're just speaking in general, because some people will be like, nah, that ain't true, because I did that for my son, you know. But let me just say this. When you look at the way our society is set up and how they view brothers, young brothers, there's a story, there's information out there right now, an article that says white people police in general, tend to see young African-American men as older than they actually are. So you're looking at a 10-year-old, he might think he's 15 and may be overly aggressive towards him, but that's a 10-year-old. So you would think young black men definitely need to be supported and maybe in a different way than young sisters. Not to say less than young sisters, but definitely in a different manner than young sisters do. Because young sisters is out here killing. And if mama can take credit for the success of young sisters, single mothers out there, 70% of all African-American children are born out of wedlock. So if mama is taking credit for how well the young sister is doing, she got to take some credit for how poorly the young brother is doing. You agree?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Wow.
And so in my case, I sheltered them so well that, like I said, my 16-year-old told me, I thought you were going to pay for me to go to college. You was going to figure it out like you do everything.
Wow.
And I was happy that he thought that I could do that. But at the same time, I was like, boy, why you think are we working so hard on the scholarship? Because I can't afford it. So
wow. Now,
yeah,
what state are you guys in?
Oh, we from Cali. My son goes to Dorsey.
Oh, well, Dorsey in the building. Let me just say this. So watch this. Now we're talking about the quality of education. Now, when we look at Dorsey, I know there's black teachers in there that are busting their ass to be great teachers.
Right.
But the black teacher and the black student at Dorsey got to work 5 to 10 times as hard to get the same recognition as the teacher and the student at Palisades or Beverly Hills or Santa Monica. You feel me?
Yep.
So now...
And that's what I'm explaining to him. Like, you have to get these grades way up, son. You can't settle for C's and D's and get a scholarship. It doesn't work like that. He's like, oh...
So
now
what?
I get it.
Right. Because let me just say, I don't be speaking from a space of perfection. I be speaking from a space, I speak from a space of falling on my ass. I remember when my son blew up. He was top 50 in the nation in the guard category. Had all of these scholarships to everywhere. He was in the 10th grade. His 10th grade year was probably one of the worst academic years he had. We didn't even know until his AAU coach was like, yo, I want to have him be in this TV show called Parks and Recreation. He did a television show, an episode of Parks and Recreation with what's my man from the Miami Heat who can't play now because of the blood clots. What's my man's name? Chris Bosh. So him and some of his other AAU teammates, right, got a chance to go play and do this episode of Parks and Recreation. But in the state of California, you can't get a TV gig unless your grades are right if you're underage. Mm-hmm. So he had to go because, there's a worker's permit. And they couldn't pay the kids because you would be considered an amateur making money, and that would ruin your scholarship. You see? So boom. He goes to this little work permit office and they say, hey, your grades are terrible. I think at the time he had a 1.6 GPA. And this is what I love about white people. His coach, the white coach, was writing his ass off right there. Oh, God. Oh, my God. We blew him up. There's too many people on him right now. Because he had just had the biggest summer of his life. It was like 15 schools chasing him. He was like, oh, God, we blew him up too soon. Jesus, it's over. It's over. He's got a 1.6. It's over. It's done. The one thing that saved his ass was that his high school coach, and ask yourself a question. Is this available at Dorsey, what I'm about to share? It could be. I don't know. But I know it's available for Santa Monica. My son was at Santa Monica. His coach, as a freshman, signed him into something called Young Collegians. It's a summer school program for basketball players where you get college and high school credit. And because he was signed into Young Collegians, the lady at the permit office couldn't read the Santa Monica college credits. But once we looked at it, the Santa Monica college credits made him eligible. Had he not, you see, had he not had those fucking credits from Santa Monica College, he would have been ineligible and couldn't be in that TV show. And more importantly, couldn't even entertain the idea of those scholarships that were now being offered to him. So now my next question to you is, who are the men in his life that are echoing what you need echoed?
My father, and he has one mentor at school. He gets along with the coaches, but he doesn't have a great connection with them. So I would say my dad is his main role model.
That's a great role model to have. His grandfather. And
right.
is his grandfather on his ass like a cheap suit, like a granddaddy should be?
Now that I've let him in, because like I said, I was keeping them sheltered, so I wasn't even telling my dad how he was messing up. And, I was still allowing him to be rewarded because they are wonderful sons. Their behavior, they stay out of trouble, they do their best to be good young men. Mm-hmm. However, his academics have struggled for years. So, yeah, when I would tell my dad what was going on, yes, my dad was actually the first person to ever physically reprimand him. So
exactly. Put them hands on him.
On him.
Exactly.
As long as he can.
So now, only 35 with a 16-year-old, and the other one is...
He's 17.
17 and 16, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a young girl, still learning who you are, you got these kids who are knocking at the door of manhood. You were blessed to have your dad. But what's so beautiful about this conversation with you, sister, is the honesty, right, that you coming with and that you're sharing and the accountability. You sheltered them even from the male voice that could have corrected them back in the day.
Right. Yes. Yes.
And I think this is an issue, that isn't, and I'm glad you're sharing it because there's other mothers out there who may be going through the same thing. Here's the beauty, though. School is over in what? June, May? Where is he at?
Yes, well, right now he has improved greatly because, like I said, I've been going to school with him. So
walking his ass right into that classroom, huh?
Yes, exactly. Like his friends, oh, there go your mama coming.
Right.
Hey,
I need to sit right next to you in class, huh? I'm gonna sit down right next to you. I love it. I fucking love it. Dope. Let me ask you this: has he taken the SAT?
Not yet. He's taking it in June. Tomorrow he's going for his last practice test because he's been doing a weekend practice workshop.
Mm-hmm.
So he will be taking it soon. He is studying for it, and he's very intelligent. So
Mm-hmm.
I have no doubt that he will score high. I just need him to stay focused. And I've literally had issues with with my son since kindergarten. Like, his teachers have been calling me about his behavior, or he won't be quiet, or, like, they wanted to skip him to a higher grade, but his behavior was too much. They couldn't take him from 4th grade to 5th grade if he's acting like a 3rd grader, but his academics were high. But so he's intelligent. He's just distracted easily and spoiled. I didn't realize how spoiled he was until last year, 2016, till 10th grade. His dad always used to tell me, you spoiled them too much. And I'm like, I don't have much. How do I spoil them? But now I realize that I did spoil them.
Well, that was my next question. I was going to say, where is Dad? And what have you done to kind of keep that at arm's distance? Was it necessary, or, what was the cause of it?
Well, yeah, their dad is, he's around. They know him. We actually were neighbors, literally lived next door to each other for 4 years. He's just troubled. He's a conformed ganger, I guess. He has issues, and he is well aware of them. And for years, he chose to stay out of their lives. And then when we moved in the same building, I don't know. He went through his moments where he was a part of their lives, but he wasn't an example. He wasn't doing anything. He sold drugs and
that's a good,
he didn't really have much to offer them. He would cook for them and talk to them about women. He did sort of certain things, but as far as consistency and being an example of what they needed, he wasn't that.
Now,
because he doesn't know how. He really just, is. I don't know if he's content with their relationship, but he accepts it. He's like, whatever. He just recently started working, so I'm glad for that. But he's 46, and so he's always been the leader. He's obviously older than me, so I realized years ago though that he couldn't lead. It was just the universe wanted those young men to be here, and we were the two to bring them here. So he has great genes, I have great genes, and his mother is a wonderful woman. Like, she's always been active and supportive and a part of whatever I'm needed as best as she can. But yeah. And his dad was there, but crazy, like dysfunctional. Like, even though he was there, it was like, I don't know how much that helped. It helped in a sense because, he grew up with a father, but he grew up with a very dysfunctional father. So he wasn't able to learn how to be a father.
Wow.
So that's where that is.
Wow.
And now my sons, I never talked bad about him or anything, but then when we lived next door to each other we lived next door from ages, my children were 12 to 16. So 11 and 12 to 15 and 16. We lived next door to each other, and I took care of them. I paid my rent. I did everything by myself for the most part. And so, and my parents have always helped me. So that's who my children have seen me get support from, my parents and one man in my life who is actually a friend that just really cares about me. And so he looks out, and he looks out for them to a certain extent. Their father has even pushed him away because he didn't like that.
Right.
My
Territorial.
sons were getting so close to him.
Yep. I understand. Wow. So let me ask you, how far into your educational process did you go?
Well, I am actually still taking classes at community college to get my just business degree. Just a associates in business, because I worked for Starbucks for 12 years. And so to get into corporate, they told me, well, if you go get your degree, then we'll let you apply. Otherwise, you need to climb the ladder, go be a manager for a couple of years, and then you can apply or get your degree. So I was like, okay, well, I'll get my degree.
Wow. And let me just say, let me commend you, because where you are in life is not an easy place. Young, 2 kids that are damn near grown, 35, Starbucks. That's a hard road.
Right.
And what they need to see from you, and even dad, and see, a lot of people will be like, well, what do they need to see from their daddy? Listen, you've already outlined that dad is not in play consistently. So when we talk about the black woman's strength and the black woman's resilience, it doesn't come from blaming a situation or blaming a person in a situation that she co-created. Where it comes from is adapting to the situation in front of the children and showing them how to overcome that situation, that particular issue. Like, oh God, this is a bad situation. This is terrible. We could either sit here and say it's the dad's fault and stay in this situation, or we can adapt to the situation and find solutions on how to get out of the situation, how to elevate above the situation. And it's possible. School, education is one way, right? That's one way. Let me get these degrees. Because guess what? You're a single black woman that's a mom of kids. There's money out there for you. You can get some scholarships. You could do some things. You can go to University of Phoenix. You understand what I'm saying? Get some degrees and then transfer to a bigger school. There's money out there for you to do it. Now, here's the difficulty in that, because there's going to be difficulty in every scenario. You keep getting that higher education, you're going to keep accruing debt. Those student loans, you got to pay them back at some point. You can't get your transcripts unless you pay the loan back, right? You can't get the...
Right. Well, that's why it's taking so long also, because I have to work so that I don't have to get loans, So
right,
I can only take 2 classes a semester and things like that. But yeah, they respect me and they know that it's been a struggle. It's just now, like I said, I'm growing and I'm still learning. Like when they were 11 and 12, I let them watch Hidden Colors. And so my mom was so mad at me because it had my kids not believing in Jesus. And so and now it still is, a struggle. So I'm like, okay, I'm glad that I found you and Veronica Conway and other resources now, but I wasn't sure if they could grasp Black Mastery right now, but I'm going to get it for all of us.
Don't be scared. Get that. Don't be scared, and get some other shit too. How often do they read? And if they're reading, what are they reading?
Well, right now, my senior, he is, I'm trying to get him to read more outside of just schoolwork.
Right.
And my junior, he's just doing schoolwork. So recently, I know my oldest son read The Pact. My younger son, he's reading stuff for school. They're doing The Color Purple right now. So it kind of depends on what they're doing for school or what I'm doing, what I'm reading. So,
wow.
Like I just got The Power of Now.
Eckhart Tolle.
I'm gonna be finished with it by
book.
Sunday. Then they gotta read it.
Let me suggest a couple of books for these guys.
Okay, cool.
Couple of books right quick. Number 1, there's a relationship book on my website that you can download the PDF to. It's free, right? It's a relationship book, and it's real talk. It's talking about, protecting yourself, sexually, the pitfalls of young love, That's a book, number one. It's free. Download it. It's not long either. So download that. But then I would also suggest Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. An outlier is someone who thinks outside of the box. Because you're going to need some outside of the box type thinking in order to make it in this world as a young African-American male. You got to learn how to think outside of the box so you could create something, right? Some type of endeavor, right? But it's hard to do that when your choices are limited. But I'll say it again. Your reality is dictated by the quality of your thought process. So reading books elevates your thought process, and thus your reality gets to elevate as well. You'll start attracting different kind of people because, oh, I read that book. Oh, you're reading the same books that Harvard graduates are reading. You're reading the same book that Stanford graduates are reading. You're going to attract those type of people and the resources that come along with them. Right? And you build honest relationships with those kind of people, and then you guys can create different types of relationships in terms of business, in terms of enterprise. But they got to read. They got to study. And I'm going to say this. Education is one way, right, to change your situation. But let me just tell you, you can study yourself, right? You can read yourself. You don't have to go to school, but knowledge is nothing unless you apply it, unless you implement it, right? They say knowledge is power. That's not true. It is the implementation of knowledge, the application of knowledge that is powerful. So you don't necessarily have to get a degree, but what you have to do is get information. That's what you have to do. And then once you get information, you got to create strong relationships with people that have resources. And that's how you pull yourself out of your situation.
All right. That is knowledge.
Wow. I appreciate you. Shit. I appreciate you. And let me do this way. Just tell us real quick the 3 things you learned, from your situation. And when I say 3 things, you learned about yourself, character flaws. 3 character flaws that manifested because of being a single mother. Like, damn, I think this way. Dang, this is some of my beliefs. Give me 3 of those.
Well, I learned that I can't change grown people.
Wow.
They have to change themselves. I learned that I'm a major procrastinator. I learned that that's one of my biggest flaws. And I've learned how to manage money. Like, I'm not great at it, but looking back, I've realized that, I've done pretty damn good. And the fact that my children have not ever wanted or needed for much, I've struggled, but I've managed very well. Wow. And so it's like I know that I'm capable.
Wow.
I've learned that I can and will do great things because I already have almost.
Well, let me just say, as my good friend Antonio Moore says, it can't just be, wish-based. It's got to be application-based.
Yeah.
Learning a vocation. Maybe you get one of these guys to go to a mechanic school, learn how to fix airplanes. They have those kind of programs. All you got to do is graduate high school, go in there with your diploma. There's money for them to learn that, a mechanics situation. Or maybe learn computers, there's money there. But at the end of the day, you're going to need a skill set, and they need to understand that in the real world. Because when we start talking about black wealth, black people don't have any money.
Right.
For the most part. Listen, if we're talking about 100% wealth in America, 2.6, 2.8 of it goes to black people, black Americans. Now, that's including Drake. Well, he's not an American. He's Canadian. But that's including Lil Wayne, Oprah, Bill Cosby. That's including all the ballers. Jay-Z, Beyonce, all the ballers fit in that 2.6 or 8%. Now, everybody else is doing even worse. So you have to understand, like, education is an integral piece. And when I say education, I don't mean studying Spanish history or world history. I mean some kind of skill, some type of tool that you get out of, some type of vocation. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So these boys got to figure something out. And mom, if they see you do it, you've given them the blueprint on how to do it. Okay?
Yes.
Man, I appreciate you talking with me today. This wasn't really a coaching session. This was more of a conversation. I love it. I appreciate you.
It.
All right.
I'll be listening.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Wow. That was amazing. We're in a bad space, guys. I'm trying my hardest to get you guys to wake up to the fact that we're human beings, black men and women. We're human beings. And we're in such a destitute situation that I've said it before. We derive power out of deriding each other, out of denigrating each other. Because that's the only way we could feel like we strong, is beating up on each other. I do these type of shows not to say, oh, mama, it's your fault. No, I do these type of shows to say, at the end of the day, the quality of our relationships will dictate and determine how organized we'll be. Somebody said, oh man, all the answers are in black money, black economics. Well, money and economics deal with that which has worth, that which has value. But if I don't value you, how the fuck am I going to do business with you and create value? Money is energy. So I'm going to come in with the energy of suspicion and competition, and I'm going to have a mercenary type vibe with you because in our community, we don't really respect or appreciate each other. We appreciate white brands. That's how we know we've arrived. Whether the brand is a Mercedes, a BMW, an Audi, a Maybach, a Lamborghini, we appreciate the brands of success that are owned by white people, and that's how we arrive in our community. That's how we let everybody know we here, by what we've accumulated. And then we wonder why other brothers are envious of us when we come into the neighborhood like that. Because they got what we want. So watch this. The issue is the quality of the relationship. That's why I wrote the relationship dismount. That's why I'm writing the holographic relationship. If we heal our relationships and come back to the center of we appreciate you, sister. And then the sister in turn says, we appreciate you, brother. Wow. Wow. Now we can do business with each other and not feel this mercenary sense of, shit, if I don't share with them, they're going to rob me. Or this sense of envy or this sense of jealousy. We got to heal the relationships. That sister called in and was 100% accountable about what she didn't do right. Now, it's clear she had those children way too soon. Clear. But guess what? She had them. There are no accidents in the universe. She kept them. Right? And she raised them to the best of her ability, and she surrounded them with people that are helping her do it. And she was honest. No brother can call in here right now and say, ain't no examples of honest black women or accountable, personally accountable black women. That was an example of an accountable black woman who didn't blame the father for her situation when she could have. She could have said, I'm in this situation because their dad chose to be a gangbanger and whatever. Did she blame him one time, Daniel? Not one time did she say it was his fault. I have nothing but the utmost respect for that sister. I have nothing but the utmost respect for that sister. Is there any other sisters out there who want to be honest about it and own not only the lessons you've learned, right, but the revelations of the flaws that your children are modeling from you? Oh, wow. She said, I babied them. I spoiled them. I want to hear from sisters who raised single moms who raised young girls to be out there banging. I bet you it's a gang of those examples. I bet you. There's some young sisters out there born to single moms that got their degrees, that are real estate agents, lawyers, that are out there grinding. But what about these boys? And the phone lines is quiet because I'm asking the sisters. You seen a sister just be totally honest about it. Is there an issue here? Are sisters better at raising daughters than they are at raising men? Because the young men you complain about, or the men, the quality of black men that you complain about, all came from a woman. Mama, what did you teach him that was different than what you taught your daughter? And why is your daughter doing so well? Is it because America wants her to do well and the system is designed for her to win? Is the system designed for him to break down, for him not to win? I need to know. Call me, 323-230-4610. One-on-one coaching for single moms. I see Facebook. I see Twitter. Everything is lit right now. Y'all get to your phone lines. Stop commenting online. I want to hear from you today. Now, let me just give you this. My youngest son, he's 15. Me and his mom, story time with Zoe. I was about to get personal. It was about to go there. But we got to call her. I'll come back to that. Caller, you're on the line. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, Zoe. This is Amber calling from Arkansas.
Amber from Arkansas. What's cracking?
How you doing?
You see I'm in here putting in this work right now.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, let me go on and call. Since you said the phone was quiet, let me go on and call.
Right. So go ahead.
No, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I don't have a son. I have a daughter. She's 4, and I actually have a kind of a it was a situation. I would definitely like your input on it, if I may.
Absolutely.
Okay, to make it brief, basically, my daughter went and spent time with her dad, and when he brought her back or whatever, he said she had to take a bath because she messed up her clothes, whatever. Okay, so when my daughter was explaining to me, she kept talking about a girl. So long story short, his girlfriend or whatever ended up giving our daughter a bath. And what I didn't, I guess, particularly like was, number one, my daughter doesn't know her, doesn't know her name or anything. Never met the girl. I didn't know anything about her. And so I just kind of felt that was inappropriate, that she should be giving, our child a bath. And, our daughter doesn't even know her. He didn't see the issue with it. And I basically want to know, am I overreacting? Or did I kind of make it into something that it wasn't?
Well, if you say you're overreacting, the first thing I'm going to say is, what did you do in order to qualify as overreacting? Like, what did you do?
Well, I just basically, when she told me, when my daughter was explaining it to me, I was upset, but I didn't talk to him during the time I was upset. I waited until I was calmed down, and then, I explained to him that I didn't think that was appropriate.
Right.
And I was like, why did that happen? And he said that he was cooking dinner and he needed help. And I said, well, why couldn't she cook the dinner and you give us a bath?
Right.
So basically, he was just like, well, what do you want me to do? And, basically I just said I would appreciate it if she wouldn't bathe her again.
Well, I think...
And that was it.
Let me just say this. I understand your apprehension in that situation, but this is where he fell off. Listen, I get mad at sisters for saying this is my child. Now, in this regard, he was acting like this is his child solely, only. And at the end of the day, you deserve a phone call. Is it okay if my lady friend gives our daughter a bath while I cook? I got a lot going on over here. I want to put you on the phone with her so you can get a vibe with her to see if this is all right. Now, you get on the phone with her, you might vibe with her. But then you say, oh, give the phone back to Cletus. And then you get on the phone with Cletus, which is, your daughter's father. I'm just, giving him a name.
Yeah.
And then you say, hey, I like her. I like her vibe. I'm just uncomfortable. I don't want her to give my daughter a bath. Our daughter a bath. Okay, cool. Right. Then I'm going to ask her to finish up the food, and then I'll give our baby girl a bath, and we good. A lot of times parents went, well, I got her now, and under my rules, do what I want to do. And, again, it's always, especially when you're not together, and then the child is going from house to house, there's different rules in the house, but there should be some uniform rules that apply to both dwellings. You know what I'm saying? Having a woman that you don't know bathe your child is tantamount to a man spanking your child that you don't know. For a guy, you let some dude whoop my son. Well, you wasn't here, and there was an issue that I needed. So a man is going to flip and say, give me the common courtesy. I'm his dad. Holla at me before it go down like that. He owed you at least that. You don't just put a stranger in there to wash your child up. You don't know who that person is. You know what I'm saying? He may know who she is, but you don't. And as the child's mother, you deserve that courtesy.
Right. And I asked him, I said, well, how would you feel if somebody I'm dating gave her a bath? And his response actually is what pissed me off, because he was just like, well, it wouldn't be a non-issue. I just make sure that he do it correctly or whatever.
What?
And I didn't respond because that pissed me off, so I didn't respond. I just didn't say anything because I'm like,
You would make sure that the dude bathed your daughter correctly? Yeah.
And I'm like,
whoa.
But
Okay.
I feel like if I go off, I'm the bad guy, or I'm the typical baby mama because I'm going off on you. But I mean, it's like some of the stuff you say, I just don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, really? Did you just say that? Okay.
Yikes.
Okay.
Well, let me offer you this too, though. Moving forward, this was just an opportunity that showed that there are some gaps in between your households, right? And this is just another opportunity where you and he can sit down, right, and start to really fill those gaps. Let's have a conversation about who gets to interact with the children that are in our world, right? If I'm dating somebody, what are your do's and don'ts for that person's interaction with our daughter? And I'll acknowledge them because they're your do's and don'ts. And you matter when I bring other people into the space with our child, right?
Right.
So he gives you his do's and don'ts, and then you give him your do's and don'ts. And you guys create basically an honor system where there was once a gap because it hadn't been articulated yet. The do's and don'ts, right?
Okay.
That would make sense. You think?
Okay. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm definitely open for solutions and suggestions because I want to work together.
Right.
I don't want us to fight against each other. I want us to work together, but I just feel like it's just hard sometimes when stuff like that come up and then comments like that come up. It makes it sends my temper through the roof.
Of course, because you can't think for somebody. You would think, what the fuck kind of thought is that about your daughter?
Right.
What? I just hope he'd wash her up right.
Right. It's like, you don't care.
You don't give a damn, do you?
Right. That's basically what you're saying. You don't care.
Long as he washed my girl up right, everything fine.
It's like, oh man, I was like, oh wow, what the hell?
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for calling.
Thank you.
Always, always. Ladies, if you're a single parent, you're having an issue, call me. I'm coaching single mothers tonight. Have you made the mistake of making your young African-American son the father or the man of the house? Oh, my God. You the man of the house now. Your daddy ain't here. Fuck. Can you imagine what that would do to him as he matures, as he grows? Yikes. This is crazy. Caller, you're on the line. What's your name and where you're calling from? Welcome to the Voice of Reason. Speak on it.
You're on the line. What's your name and where you calling from? Welcome to the Voice.
Turn down your radio, please.
You're on the line.
Hey, Zoe. My name is Nicole. I'm calling from Colorado.
Colorado. What's happening? I'm good. You enjoying the show tonight?
I am. It's funny that you just said that about making your son the man of the house because I'm a single mother. My son is about to turn 5. And my mom was a single mother of me and my older brother. And that's exactly what she did for my older brother. And that's exactly what I'm not trying to do for my son. So I've noticed how growing up, my brother, he would be really disrespectful to my mom and to me. And that happened because my mom wanted him to be her friend. My mom wanted him to be her friend because my dad wasn't around and wanted that acceptance from my brother to compensate for my father not accepting her.
Wow.
And not being with her.
Wow.
And I was just calling to see if you had any suggestions on the best way to not allow that to happen for my son.
Let me just say this. You said you're a single mother. Your mother was a single mother. I need to understand, why is there a pattern? Right? I need to understand. Now, it ain't just you. It's not just your family. Are you African American?
Yes, I am.
Okay. It's not just your family. I mean, 70% of our children are being born out of wedlock. Now, let me just say, I'm no huge proponent of marriage, but I just want to understand how you got there and really why is it now somewhat of a cycle I see?
Yeah, I mean, I've tried to understand that myself because my grandmother was a single mother of 5 children.
Wow.
My aunt, a single mother of 3 children. My cousin is single mother of 3 children. My mom, single mother of 2 children. And now myself, single mother of 1 child.
Wow.
I didn't expect to be a single mother. I don't think anyone expects to be a single mother when they have a child, but I think it goes down to, personally for myself, I know that when I was in a relationship with my son's father, I didn't see the signs. I can say that I intentionally ignored the signs. I made excuses. I definitely made excuses for staying in the relationship, and a lot longer than I should have. I didn't listen to my intuition. So I know that's why I'm in the situation that I'm in. And there's no one else that can be blamed for that but myself.
In what way did you follow your mother's, like what did you pick up from her that maybe made you feel like, yo, being a single mom is okay? My mother did it. Her mother did it. Like, what part of that, how you modeled her, what made that make sense to you?
My mom split from my father when I was really young. My father was abusive and an alcoholic. So I noticed that my father wasn't really involved in my life. He divorced with my mom and moved on. Didn't really have a father figure there. I noticed after I got out of my relationship with my son's father, obviously, I was reflecting back on the relationship, and I noticed that he modeled my father in a lot of ways.
Wow.
He was a lot like my father. Even though my father wasn't in my life, he passed away when I was really young, about 13. So even though he wasn't there, my son's father held a lot of the characteristics that my dad had. And so when I finally realized that the situation wasn't working for me, it wasn't healthy for me, the energy between me and his father wasn't good for my son, I wasn't going to try and stay in a relationship that made my energy bad, made me feel bad about myself, because I know my son, regardless of if he can understand that, he can feel that.
Wow. So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this real quickly here. Now, did your mother ever speak ill of your father around you and your brother?
Not that I can remember, but I know that growing up, I always had some type of resentment towards my mother because I felt like she kept me away from my father.
Did she? Did she actively keep you away from your father?
I feel like when she first split from him, she split from him when I was 2. To my understanding, the stories that I've been told, she did in the beginning because he was abusive and an alcoholic. There was incidents that were happening where me and my brother were turning up getting hurt when we were in his care and that kind of thing. So she says for our well-being in the beginning, she was more reserved as far as letting us spend as much time with him. But then as we got older, he didn't want to be there. The last conversation that I can remember having with my father before he passed away, I was with my older sister, and he was on the phone. She said, "Oh, Nicole's in the car. Do you want to speak with her?" And he said, "No, I don't want to talk to her."
Do me a
that
favor.
Was the last.
This is powerful. This is powerful. Do you believe the way your mother viewed your father, that it pushed him away to the point where he didn't want to have anything to do?
Most definitely.
Now I'm gonna ask you, what beliefs did you inherit from your mother that put you in a situation that may have sent your guy away? Can you identify 3 negative or repulsive beliefs that you modeled from your mother, that your mother modeled from her mother?
One would have to be dealing with it. dealing with the drama, the issues, the stuff that you know is not right, that you can feel this shouldn't be happening. This doesn't seem right. I shouldn't be dealing with this. Putting up with it because, oh, well, it's going to get better. It was better in the past. It was better in the past, so it must be getting better in the future. This just must be a rough patch. Definitely that. Putting up with it. Thinking that you can change someone. I know that I was definitely dating my son's father's potential and not who he really was. And that was a part of the problem. Thinking that, oh, I can help him grow into who he's meant to be or into someone better. I can help him change when you can't change anyone who doesn't want to change themselves.
Wow.
So that was definitely one of them. Second one. And the third one, not caring enough about myself to stand up for myself. To take charge of my own life, to say that no, that's not right. Like, I'm not dealing with that. I'm not putting up with that. I'm gonna take care of myself first, and so I can make sure my son is good. Because if I'm not good, how is my son supposed to be good?
So now, I need you to outline 3 negative beliefs, limiting beliefs that you think you might be transferring to your son that may ultimately be detrimental to him. That you picked up from mom, that she picked up from grandma. With this, I can do it by myself, single mom mentality. What do you think? 3 beliefs that you might be passing on to him that will later backfire.
I think that he's very attached to me because I'm the only one there. And I've noticed I'm attached to my mom, and I can see he's attaching to me and my mom. And it's good, but it's not good. It won't be good in the future, is what I'm trying to say. He's very dependent instead of being... or like codependent, I'm sorry. He's very codependent. So that's definitely one of them. 2, I honestly don't know.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever really thought about it.
Okay, so let me ask you this. That dependent piece, that's a heavy piece. That is a heavy piece because now I'm going to ask you, are you spoiling them? Are you teaching them how to be independent?
So I've been very, especially lately, as he's gotten older, I've been very conscious of if I'm spoiling him or not. When he was younger, I can definitely say, yes, I spoiled him, but I feel like I've kind of weaned him off of being spoiled and made him understand you need to be appreciative of what you have, and you don't always get what you want. You'll get what you need. You'll never need for anything, but you're not always going to get what you want just because you want it. You got to work for it. So that's what I've been working with him on lately.
So let me ask you this. What kind of male voices do you have around him? You need a male village voice.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a grandfather? What about his daddy? Is his daddy of quality? Maybe y'all relationship isn't good, but is his daddy quality enough to be able to parent?
No, he does not. He's chosen to not be a part of his life. I have openly, since day one, expressed that I would never keep him away from his son, ever. I don't care what we need to do. We live in 2 different states now. He moved back to California, but he has chosen to not be a part and he doesn't communicate with him at all.
Okay, wait a minute.
So
Wait. There's a lot of meat on this bone. And the reason why I say that is because we have to deal with the fact that a lot of times people think that you got black men out there who don't really care about being fathers and don't really care about their children that they've fathered. But we also have to keep in mind that the quality of your thought process determines the quality of your reality. And there are women out there who know how to create a hostile environment, just like at work. They know how to create a hostile family environment that push people out, which is why I asked, what are the 3 beliefs that you have that are limiting beliefs, that may be negative beliefs, that will create a familial hostile environment where a father will not want to participate in that environment? It can't just be, you think, let me just ask you this question. You think at heart that man doesn't care about his child with you?
I think he cares, but I think that he's not in a place he's not mature enough yet to be a father. I don't even have his phone number. He keeps changing his phone number, doesn't let me know. I don't know where he lives.
How old is he?
He is 20. He's 26.
Ah, damn. You had a baby with a baby. He doesn't even know who he is. I don't think
he's mature enough yet to actually be a father.
How old are you?
I'm 23.
Oh, honey. You're 10 twice. Maybe 12. 12 twice. 12 and a half twice. My God, honey. He's too young to even know who he is or what he is. He hasn't even figured that out.
That's why I don't fault him. I don't fault him. I don't blame him. I completely understand. He didn't want to have the baby. He wanted me to have an abortion when I got pregnant. But I couldn't do that.
So now you understand. This is where you are. You're in the position, right, of where our first caller was. You're in that position. She had 2 kids back to back. She's 35 now. Her oldest is 17 and the youngest is 16. And what you're going to find is, as you grow around your children, they're going to model all of your flaws and they're going to reflect those flaws back to you. You need to be hella attentive because those flaws are going to be the curriculum that you need in order to mature in front of your kids. But you got to do it now. And you got to listen, you got to be looking for, oh my God, this is who I am as a person. My child is reflecting this back to me. Oh my goodness. You've got to be working on yourself to such a degree. They need to see you succeed at something. They need to see you accountable for everything because you're the first woman they've ever learned to love. You're the first woman they've ever loved, your children or your child. You're the first woman your child has ever loved. So watch this. They say moms are the first teachers. Well, you're going to have to teach them responsibility. You're going to have to teach them that blaming is a waste of time. Time is the only commodity you can never get back. It's worth more than money. $1 billion is not worth as much as a half an hour. If you could get a half an hour back with somebody that passed, if you could afford that $1 billion, you'd pay it. Time. Yep. So I'm telling you, as a 23-year-old, you better show them children. They need to see you go to school. They need to see you get a degree. They need to see you constantly working on yourself. They need to see you never denigrating their father, even if he's deserving of it.
Oh, yeah.
You know why?
I don't believe in that.
Because part of their identity is there. So if you denigrate him, you denigrate them. Wow.
Yep.
Wow. They need to see you taking responsibility for your flaws. If you do that in front of your children, man, you're going to be more than just mom. You're going to be mentor. But you can't become mentor until you face the demons of the past. Mom was a single mother. Grandmama was a single mother. And here you are at 23, a single mother like them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You got to face those demons. You got to face those demons. You got to give those kids an environment that says, this is what a real man is. Oh, my good friend Jeff Brown has a great example. When you take them to get a haircut, drop them off. Let them be in there with the barbers. As a matter of fact, holla at the barber and be like, yo, I'm going to leave my kids in here to get their haircut. Not because I'm not a good mother, but because I want them around some good brothers. But you got to find a good barbershop with good men in there that have real conversations that a child, and maybe they get 10 years old, 11 years old, then you drop them off. You allow them to be in that environment, and it's the village voice.
Mm-hmm.
The voice of this is what manhood is. Do you understand what I'm saying?
So, I mean, he has a really good barber. His barber's a really good friend of mine. I've known him since before he was born, and he's great friends with my brother. So then, obviously, my son's a little bit young to just be dropping him off like that. So then would you recommend me just having my brother take him and go with my brother and be there?
That would be dope. Your brother can take him. Absolutely, your brother can take him.
Okay.
Absolutely. Have your brother take him. But you should take him too. And you should tell him why.
I usually do.
Yeah.
I'm usually there, but if it would help for me to sometimes not be there, for him to just be around all males, because that's rare. My older brother and my oldest cousin, we're actually all in business together, so we spend about 90% of our time together. That's who his two main male role models are.
So watch this. Here's a jewel. Here's a jewel, mama. Mama's nurture, mama's love, mama's got they babies back. I get it. But y'all tend to teach your daughters how to be better problem solvers than you teach your boys. Y'all tend to solve your boys' problems for them, and this is why the boys grow up dependent on you. The best thing you can do is teach your sons how to be problem solvers.
Okay.
Make these boys, you got one or two? One?
Just one.
Make this boy learn chess as soon as possible. Don't give the boy nothing. Make him earn everything.
Okay.
Now watch this. Don't give yourself credit in front of him that you haven't earned. But when you do give yourself credit, it's for things you have earned in his presence. And now watch the redundancy of having to give yourself credit. He'll give you credit because he witnessed it.
Mm-hmm.
See, so too many mamas is running around giving themselves credit for things that maybe came from a shared situation where, yeah, you can take some credit, but you can't take all the credit.
All the credit.
You can't just be that kind of person. And then when you take credit for your flaws in front of your kids, it lets them know, damn, I can make a mistake and I can own it because I saw my mama do it.
Mm-hmm.
You a single mama, right? You want them to be responsible, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the only way they can be responsible is to see you be responsible.
Okay.
Yes. I appreciate you calling all the way from Colorado. Listen,
well, thank you for talking with me. I really do appreciate it, and I really enjoy your show as well.
Love it. I love it. Thank you so much for reaching out to the Voice of Reason. 101 Coaching. Sisters, Single Mother Coaching Clinic. I'm doing it right now. Call me, 323-230-4610. This is a coaching clinic I'm doing tonight for single mothers. All right? For raising young black boys. A deeper look at some common mistakes single mothers make in the absence of fathers. Stop babying baby boy. Stop. Right? If black men or men in general are socialized to protect and provide, make your sons provide for themselves by earning all the gifts you give. Ain't a gift he gets that didn't come from him earning. Right? He had to earn it. In order for you to have it, you gotta earn it. Single mothers, make them earn everything. You want to play basketball? You play basketball by paying for hoop with good grades. You don't get the grades, you don't get to hoop. And then you have your village voice of men, the village voice of men who echo your sentiment. Those guys reinforce it. Hey, man, ain't shit I could do. Your mother said you can't hoop. I can't take you. You talk to the coaches. Coach, back me up. He don't get to play because that C is not what we need. I'm going to tell you right now, putting your kid in organized sports is one of the best ways to motivate them to do what you want them to do because you can always yank that. I was telling a story about how my son was doing really bad before this sister called in. The number to dial is 323-230-4610. If you know a single mother or if you are a single mother that is having a difficult time with your young black male, you can call me right now. I'm coaching for free tonight. Now, back to it. My son blew up. Pepperdine, New Mexico State, San Francisco, all of these colleges calling, offering him a scholarship. All of them. Come to find out he had a 1.6 GPA. And then we did some more research and found out because he was enrolled by his head coach, Coach James Hecht of Santa Monica High, in something called Young Collegians, that he was getting college credit and high school credit. And that college credit and high school credit saved him and boosted him back to a 2.0. And then he was able to do an episode of this TV show called Parks and Recreation. But once that junior year started, I was on my son like a cheap suit from the local thrift store. You understand? I was on his ass like an itchy wool scarf. And that junior year was his best year. Got a 3.0. And then I know at a certain time, boys, children, they tune dads out. They tune everybody out. That's when the village voice comes in and reinforces what you've been teaching. Caller, you're on the line. What's your name and where you calling from? Welcome to the Voice of Reason. Caller, speak on it. All right, go to the next one. Caller, you're on the line. What's your name and where you calling from? Welcome to the Voice of Reason.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's a delay. Let me turn this off.
I got you. Speak on it.
Okay. Now, can I ask you a question? Well, let me set it up this way. I'm not technically a single mom, but me and my husband are single parents because we don't have guidance, you know? And we both listen to you and your show, and it just would be nice if we were able to have some type of mentorship if that makes sense.
Okay, so say more about being a single parent without guidance.
Well, my husband grew up in a single-parent home with his mom, and I grew up bouncing around from house to house because I don't know my father, and my mom is a drug addict currently and have always been, and I never had, like, a family, and all of that comes into play when you're trying to raise a child. So when you don't have any guidance as parents, even though you're the parent, you still need guidance. So we don't have that. Does that make sense?
So you're telling me that because you were raised by single parents, you don't really know how to be a parent. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Listen. If you was raised by a single parent, you at least had a parent. And so you modeled somebody. Okay? You modeled somebody. Ideally, you wanted to be somebody's. But if you didn't have somebody's, mother and father, whoever stepped in and parented you, that's who you modeled. That's who you imprinted your behaviors from, copied, so to speak. So who raised you and how did they do it? Was it who raised you? Was it a woman? Was it a man? Who raised you?
Well, they were all women and they were all dysfunctional. So to sum it up, they were all dysfunctional, and they were dysfunctional because there was no balance. You can see the dysfunction in the way that they spoke and the way that they handled situations by basically not handling a situation. I'm trying to figure out the best way to explain it.
I got you. They were poor problem solvers.
Yes.
I got you.
And in being poor problem solvers also, they allowed things to happen to the children or myself that shouldn't have happened, which I am often skeptical of people in general because of that. And I feel like I might place those fears on my child unknowingly. I don't know if you remember, but a few weeks ago I called into the Psychic Wayne show, and I was the person who you said was always suspicious. And I am. And I am for, in my opinion, good reason. I'm always suspicious in general, and I feel like that I could hinder my son from being what he needs to be, if that makes sense.
I get what you're saying. You can't parent through fear.
Right.
You can't. It's good to be cautious. It's good to be conscientious. It's good to calculate. It's good to reason. But it's not good to parent through fear. It's not good to parent through what might happen. You're not living. You're surviving then. You're teaching your kid to always be in survival mode, to be in a hyper sense of, well, let me make sure I protect against this or that. That's not parenting.
How do you break that?
Here's the thing. Don't worry about the outcome. You're going to create have you ever heard of a self-fulfilling prophecy?
Absolutely.
All right, then. Let's not call into being a scenario or a situation that doesn't need to be because you're afraid. And then
Can I also mention something else? Another
Absolutely.
problem with the reason why I'm as suspicious as I am is because I have a vision impairment. So I'm always like extra cautious with everything. And typically when I'm meeting people, I'm not able to assess them visually. So I have to read in more to who they are more. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
Okay. I get exactly what you're saying. You're saying
Okay.
because you have this deficit in one of your senses, right? It takes you a little bit longer to really feel into a person and a situation.
No, it doesn't take long at all.
It doesn't?
No. Like, I'm really quick with it. But it's the fact that I always pick up the negative also. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but
no, I get it.
Pick up the negative.
I get it now. Now I get it 100%. Let me tell you, it's called confirmation bias. Whatever the thinker thinks, the prover will prove. Whatever you look for will manifest itself. Right? Here you are. Right. Confirmation bias is this. Your nervous system will look for things that matter to you based off of the ideas, the beliefs, the cultures, and everything that you have. It'll filter out all of the realities except the reality that makes sense to you. That's a confirmation bias. You look for things that you resonate with. And if you're resonating with the negative and you're resonating with fear, that's all you're going to see.
You'll see, right.
Whatever the thinker thinks, the prover will prove. Robert Anton Wilson.
Yeah, I know you quote it all the time.
So here you are, so worried, you can't parent effectively through the lens of worry.
Right.
You can't, right? You have to parent in an open way. The more open you are as a parent, the more your child can blossom. Your openness is like fertile soil. Your closedness or your rigidity and your fear is like stagnant water. There's no nutrient in stagnant water. But the more open you are, the more nutrient rich the soil is. So now your child is not scared. Your child is adventurous. Your child, and we don't, listen.
Yes.
Understand, there's a difference between caution and fear. Scientists break fear down like this. You have real fear, which is clear and present danger. I'm in the bank. Somebody pulls out a .357 Magnum and puts it to my medulla oblongata. That's fear. I'm walking down the alley, 36 Dobermans on rabbit rabies mouth is chasing. That's fear. That's real.
Right.
Cujo is in the bedroom when I walk in and the door locked behind me. That's real.
Right.
The classical term for this other illusory fear is called anxiety. Anxiety is a projection. What could happen? What might happen?
Right.
You can also get anxiety from the past. Damn, I wish I would have did this. Damn, if I wouldn't have done that. Do you understand?
Yes.
You got to let that go. First off, you're a steward. You're stewarding this child. You're a steward. You're stewarding him. He has his own path that's independent of yours.
Right.
And as a steward, you're going to get some reflections about yourself back from him. That's how you improve you. So he can model. Watch this. He's modeling. Oh, wow. She discovered a weakness in herself and figured it out in front of me, which gave me the blueprint on how to do it. But if you parenting through fear, all you doing is protecting the insecurity. This is how you protect an insecurity. And that's a reflection, too, that he's modeling.
Right. Wow.
You see how this is working?
I do. I do. I mean, he's young enough where I still have time to get it together. He's only 2. So
oh, well, you got time.
I still have time. Yeah.
You got time. But I'm going to tell you right now, don't let him get conscious of you.
Yeah.
If he get conscious of you, he better get conscious of you working it out.
Right.
If he gets conscious of you blaming, if he gets conscious of you making excuses, if he gets conscious of you avoiding accountability, that's who he's going to be.
Right.
And then he's going to expect you to do everything that you've been doing and continue. And you can't get mad at him because that's who you made. You made a monster.
Yeah.
Make sense?
It does. It makes sense. I appreciate you.
Anytime, young lady, call in. Who needs that coaching? It's real coaching going down for single mamas. Are you starting to lose your son? Is he pulling away? Is he around 11 to 13, 11 to 14? Is he talking to you less? Are you a single mother and you don't know what to do? You feel like you're losing a grip on your boy? Lil Boo Boo, what's the nickname? Lil Roro. He ain't Lil Roro. No Momo. Lil Roro is Roland now. Roland is Lil Rah-Rah. No, he ain't Lil Rah-Rah no more. He's Raheem. He's different. Is he disconnecting from you? Do you not know how to reconnect to him? Call me right now. I'm coaching single mothers. 101. The number to dial is 323-230-4610. The voice of reason is in. Let's get busy. Caller, you're on the line. What's your name and where you calling from?
Yo, Zo, man. This your boy, All-Star P.O., man. At the end of the day, family, I want to thank you for making this show, bro. You're going to have to do a part 2 of this.
Yeah.
For us as men, too.
Oh, yeah.
For our daughters.
Yeah.
Because what you're speaking on right now is in so many volumes. You know, I'm kind of like going through it with my daughter to a certain extent. And, you know, I'm not there as much as I would want to be because I'm trying to be more responsible and take care of the responsibilities that I know I'm supposed to do as a man. So when women say men aren't wanting to be there, we are wanting to be there. It's sometimes we have to take the accountability of the responsibilities that we have to endure in our lives, even though we're not with the mothers anymore. You know what I mean? We have to take care of a certain level of, I have to do this first. Let me handle this, and then I can get back to that. When we want to be there the whole time, you know?
Right.
And then at times it's just hard to explain to the parent that, hey, you know, I'm not there. So tell me what's going on so I can help in whatever way that I know I can or try to. But, you know, sometimes it's hard because the mothers aren't seeing it that way. They're not looking at it like, oh, you're not here. You're not trying to be here. And, you know, you're doing other things. And that's not even the case. You know what I mean? They think we're just out having fun and partying. And we're trying to get our lives together as men. You know what I mean? Some men are out here struggling to do what they can to be a better parent or a better dad or whatever, you know, it is that we're out here trying to do. It's not that we're avoiding our kids because we love our kids. I mean, you know, I can't speak for everybody, but I speak for me because I love my daughter. I love my son. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I do whatever I can as a man to be able to be responsible for my children's sake. You know what I mean? Like, after the relationships that I've been in, it's like, I feel like I don't want to deal with that anymore until I can get me on a certain level where I'm taking care of my kids, I'm taking care of myself. Now give me the relationship that I need to, you know, seeing myself with somebody else.
Listen, I totally get where you're coming from. But here's the thing, man. A lot of times we'll have an unrealistic expectation around what it means to be a parent. Dude, you can't be there all the time.
Right.
You shouldn't expect yourself to be there all the time, and she shouldn't expect you to be there all the time. There are no absolutes in the way we live. There are no absolutes in the way we live. So to say, well, because you're her daddy, you should never let her down, that's impossible. You're a human being.
Right.
You should never let them down. That's impossible. We have impossible expectations in the face of impossible odds. But with that, our chances of being better people in front of our kids, which in turn would result in better kids seeing us, experiencing us, comes from creating sustainable expectations of each other, realistic expectations of each other. How many times have you dealt with a mom, your situation? If you can't make it, it's like the end of the world. It's the end of the fucking world. There's no coming back from it. Even if you've made it 30 times in a row, 100 times in a row, 101, you didn't make it, you ain't shit.
Yeah.
We got to kill all that. There are no absolutes in the universe, and those absolutes apply to daddies too. They apply to mamas too. And mamas put so much pressure on themselves and then hide behind the mask of mama. They dry themselves up. They give, they nurture, they give. Then they don't give to themselves. And then they blame you because they can't give to themselves.
Right. Though that you even say that, I hear a lot of that from my child's mother today when she talks to she talks about my son. She says she's giving him so much he's spoiled. So she's recognizing that he's being spoiled at this early age, that he's only 6, 7, getting ready to go to first grade. And I'm like, you're gonna have to slow that down. But He's my only son. That's all I have to. He's all I have.
Watch this. Watch this. This is about to hurt. This is about to hurt. Do you think women spoil their sons because that is one of the only men they can love unconditionally? Why? Huh? This might hurt. That's one of the only men they can love unconditionally. Is their son. They got hella conditions for the man who helped make them.
Ooh.
They got hella standards and principles and beliefs and expectations. Not that they don't have expectations for their sons, but guess what? They could have 1,000 expectations for their son. Their son could fail at all of them, and they will still love him unconditionally.
Oh, yes.
But if the man who helped make him, she got standards and beliefs for his ass, if he fails, he got to go.
Right. Man. Oh, Zoe, that's hot monkey lava right there, man.
You see what I'm saying? I think women prepare their daughters differently. They prepare their daughters better.
Yeah.
They want to baby the boy, but they want to push the girl because they know what's available for the girl. I'm going to show you how to work the system, baby girl. I'm going to show you how to get what I got. And then we can partner up later on and mash.
Right.
Ooh. Hey, man, thank you for the call, man. I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, thank you, so. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, we on one tonight.
You. Keep doing what you're doing, Zoe. I'm telling you. Bring that part 2 back, baby. You have to.
I'll do it. I promise. I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. No doubt. Caller, you're on the line. What's your name and where you calling from? The Voice of Reason is live. Speak on it. Caller. Shallow. All right, cool. Man, tonight has been crazy. It's been a powerful show, man. I don't know what people believe in, but I know I believe in people. I know that it's not easy being a single mother, but I also know it's not easy being a human being. A lot of times humans make their lives harder because we have limiting beliefs about the people we interact with. We have limiting beliefs about ourselves. I know if we changed or if we hunted down the flaws in our thought process, our life would change. Our life would elevate. We would magnetize different types of people in our lives. Right? We would magnetize different types of experiences in our lives. We need to learn how to be resolute in any situation, especially in the parental context. When children see you, manifest a resolve. Just by proximity of you, they learn, they adapt, and they learn how to become resolute, resilient. I can never put it all on a woman. I can never put a woman down, especially a single mother. All I can offer is that you research yourself, you study yourself as you're raising these children, because as your children, they're going to point out your flaws at every turn. And if you hide from them in front of them, you're teaching them to hide from life. I don't know if I could say it any better than that. Right? I'm trying to coach some sisters tonight. We had a lot of sisters call in. I appreciate everybody for chiming in. I had a great time. We're going to bring it back. The brother said, bring back one for brothers who are parenting daughters. I will do that. I'm going to bring this show back again, too, because I feel like the sisters be scared because they think somebody going to deride them or disrespect them. I'm not trying to do that. That's not what this platform is about. I'm trying to offer resources. I'm trying to offer help in that way. Well, let me just say this. Please continue to order The Holographic Relationship. That book should be out in September or November. I'm giving myself September, but in case I don't make it to September, it's coming out in November. You can pre-order it now on my website, IamZoeWilliams.com. Please go pre-order right now, The Holographic Relationship. Go pre-order that book now, IamZoeWilliams.com. Also pick up some of the remaining copies of The Relationship Dismount, How to Stick the Landing When Exiting a Toxic Relationship. The book I just dropped in 2015, it's still selling. People still buying it. People still writing really wonderful reviews on it. Thank you so much for participating. And also, if this show matters to you, please go to my GoFundMe page and donate. www.gofundme.com/Zoe Williams. Tonight's show was probably one of the best shows we've ever done in our freaking lives. I promise you. Please continue to tune in. I'll be back Monday with yet another heater. Appreciate you all. We will talk soon. Zoe Williams, I'm out. Enjoy the weekend. Deuces.